Everyone, just wanted to get a quick recording of the more mundane stuff that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. This isn't any fancy anterior case. This is just a simple 4-unit posterior bridge. Some of you may get some out of this, and for some of you, this might be something that you're doing on a daily basis as well, and you don't need that further guidance. But this is for those of you who do need a little more education on the topic of, say, doing a 4-unit posterior bridge. So what we've already done, and I started recording about halfway through, but what we've already done, and this is typically what I do with every case, so I'll go back to the positioning tool, and all I've done is positioned these teeth where I think they're appropriately fit. So just with the way that this bite is, we can't give it that ideal length on every crown, but what we're going to try and do in the edit element is make all this more ideal. Like, we might make this a little bit longer, but when we try and move it here, it's going to bring this occlusion into more contact, and it's already fairly heavy. Yeah, very heavy. So this is where I felt comfortable positioning them. And then in the edit element, we've already done parameters as well, but what we've done so far in here, and you'll want to do this before any adjustments are made, and that is the biogeneric variation. That's just to get a common dentition with the rest of the teeth, common denominator. We're trying to balance out the appearance. And then, and that's pretty much all I've done at this point. So we'll just dive right in, and I'm going to take away the lower jaw. And as you can see, we still have heavy occlusion, but that's okay. Then what we're going to do next, after we do biogeneric variation, this is a process that I use for just about every bridge. Then we're going to use the move tool and even adjust them further with the move tool. So with the biogeneric variation, it kind of made this cuspid a little bit longer, so we'll shorten that back up. And unfortunately, I don't have the other side, so I'm just making my best guess here. And that seems appropriate. We're going to try and leave some occlusion on that cuspid, and we could just shorten it with the anatomical tool. I'll do that right now. Yeah, and we could be long on this. We may be just right, but unfortunately, if you're going to be doing a cuspid, anything from the cuspid forward, so cuspid lateral central, it's ideal to get the other side, and you'd only need to go to that side. So if we're doing a lateral right here, it'd be good to get the other lateral in. But anyways. So we've shortened that. We may want to move it slightly this direction, but we'll see. Yeah. No. We'll leave it right where it was. We'll adjust this contact with the shape tool. Okay. The rest of that, we could bring that over from the lingual. I feel like it's safe to assume that there was a diastema that was previously there, but who knows. So let's move on. Move. Take away the lower jaw. And we're just trying to position this, to fit it properly in this space. And I think that's good. Right there. I think that's good right there. Secondly, we can take the scale tool. And we're just going to scale these. And some of this contact we could bring over more proximally, just so we're not making such a wide tooth. But after that's done, we're going to go over to edit baseline for the Ponix. And I like to draw this out. And I've made a video on this before, but what we're trying to do is mirror the adjacent emergence profile where this margin is marked. So we're going to go out about the same distance on the buccal and the lingual, and then just shape it from there. So, and I'm just being real quick about this. We'll refine it after we get this initial marking done. Okay, so as you can see, that's a little low. So in my opinion, I just wouldn't want to leave the Pontic that low. Bring it up a little bit higher. There we go. And then personally, I wouldn't like to leave this Pontic so pointy, and we could shorten it as well. But what we'll do is just bring out the line a little bit wider. And that's too square, so we'll round it off in these corners. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other Pontic. Okay, and we could bring this out a little bit wider over here. All right, so I like that. Everything else that we're gonna do is gonna be done with the shape tool. Okay, so one thing you'll notice is this marginal ridge is a lot higher than this marginal ridge. We're going to leave this one lower just because it's out of occlusion while this one's in occlusion. So a good thing you can do to just lower a marginal ridge is take the anatomical tool with the 4 directional, get it right on that area and drop it down. And on this end, we're going to actually raise it a little bit. A lot of it. And then bring it back too. Okay. There we go. Okay. So after we've got the bulk of the shape done, let's work on occlusion. And a simple, effective way to do that, just take adjust contact, occlusal. And it's only hitting the spots that are red, occlusal. As well, occlusal. That doesn't work for anteriors, so. So let's lengthen this ever so slightly, 2 directional. And by just hitting the front, we're not really affecting the occlusion. And if we do, which I don't think we will, yeah. So it is quite steep, which could interfere with the function, the lateral function of these teeth, but I think it's going to be okay. I think we'll live. And then we could even shorten this a little bit, lengthen this a little bit. Yep. Lengthen that a little bit. Cool, we're looking good. Let's put the lower jaw in. Alright, let's smooth out some of these areas, these pitted areas. It's just a part of the anatomy, but we'll leave a little bit, but we don't want to have a molar with too many ridges like this. They just don't seem uniform. Okay. So we've got everything just about dialed, and we're just going to go back to the shape tool, get this occlusion slightly out, fill in the minimal thickness, can even raise that a little bit. Marginal ridge, remove the contacts. Let's check that out. We could broaden this contact just ever so slightly. And there we go. Let's broaden these contacts. These are going to be our connectors. We definitely don't want those snapping. So be very generous with adding in these areas. Let's check out the contact. Okay. Let's go back over here. Let's check it. 12, that's cool with me. Let's throw this back on. Right now I'm looking at the marginal ridge. So what we'll do is we'll take the individual, the 4 directional, and bring this one over slightly and move this one out slightly. Now we've got a nice marginal ridge. We don't want them super tight against each other.